Hello and welcome to For You Kids Club. It's amazing to have us back together. It's been a weird time, but we're back together here online every Sunday. I'll be bringing you these videos with my wonderful team. So today I wanted to, and going forward, we want to look at Christian foundations. So what does it mean to be a Christian? So you might be a Christian already, you might be wondering about it, your parents might be, you might be sitting there going, I have no idea what it's all about. So over the next few weeks, I wanted to just explore what it actually means to be a Christian. What is a Christian? So we're going to start with who is God? And to help us out with that, I'm going to hand over to Bekki and Ollie. Take it away, guys.
Hello. This is Ollie. Ollie, would you like to say hello to all the children at home? Ollie squeaks a lot and makes a lot of noise, so I think it might be a little bit hard for you to understand. So, when Ollie tries to talk to you, I'm going to tell you what he's trying to say. So today we're going to be thinking about God and different ways we can describe God and find out who God is. I wonder what words you would use to describe God. Maybe as you're watching this video you could write some words down that describe God or draw a picture. But there's lots of ways we can describe God and lots of words we can use, really good words, what tell us a bit about who God is. Today I'm going to focus on just one word, because I don't want to make this video too long by having lots of words about God. And the word today that I'm going to focus in is God's all-knowing. And that means God knows everything. But just before we carry on, I'm just going to see what Ollie's doing. Ollie, what are you doing? You're trying to count how many hairs you have. How many hairs do you have? Lots. Too many. Lots. Do you know exactly how many? You keep losing count. Well, you do have lots of hair. Do you think you'd be able to count how many hairs you have? You're going to give up because there's too many hairs. And you want to get a banana instead. And then you want to listen to the rest of the story. Okay, do you want to say bye-bye to the children first? Did you manage to count how many hairs were on your head? Yeah, I think it's very hard to do, isn't it? Because although you've probably got a lot less hair than Ollie has, I think it'd still be very hard. But thinking about this, it reminds me of a Bible verse from the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 7, where it says, yes, even God knows how many hairs you have on your head. Don't be afraid. You are worth much more than many sparrows. So this verse tells us that God knows how many hairs we have. I think that's really good, and it shows how much God knows. Because God knows lots. In fact, God knows everything. And I'm going to read you a story that helps us to remember this and helps us to learn more about how God can know things that we don't know. The story is about Abraham. And you might have heard a lot about Abraham. In this story, Abraham's really old. And his wife, who's called Sarah, is also really old. And they don't have any children. Shall we find out how God helps them? Let's start from the beginning. Abraham was sitting by his tent one hot day. He looked up and he saw 3 men standing nearby. He was happy to have visitors. He hurried to them, asked them to stay for dinner. Then Abraham ran to his tent. "Quick, Sarah," he said, "get some flour and bake some bread. We're having guests for dinner." Sarah made a good dinner for them. While they stood eating, the men said something very surprising. They said, "Next year you are going to have a baby boy." Now, this was surprising because Abraham and Sarah did not have children, and they were too old to have a baby. Sarah was listening in the tent. She heard what the men said and laughed. She did not believe them. Then God said, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is there anything too hard for the Lord?" And God kept his promise. Even though Abraham and Sarah were old, God gave them a baby. They named him Isaac. Look, there's a picture of Abraham, Sarah and the baby. So this story shows us that Abraham and Sarah didn't think they could have children, and they didn't know that they were going to have children, but God knew, because God can know things that we don't know, because God knows everything. He's all-knowing. God might know stuff that we don't know. He might know what you're going to do when you're grown up. He knows what's happening now, and he knows what's going to happen in the future, and he knows all the stuff that's already happened. So, our word for today that we have learned about God is all-knowing.
Wow, thanks Becky and Ollie. That was a really great story. And from it we learned that God is all-knowing. So God knows everything. He knows us, he made us, he knows what's in our heads, what's in our hearts, what we want to do, what we need to do, what we don't want to do. So God knows us so well. So that's why, as Christians, we try to connect with God, because he already knows us. He knows us like he knows the palm of his own hand. God knows us so well, and he loves us. And because he knows everything else about the world, he can help us to live our lives the best way possible, so we can trust him to help us. And how do we get God to help us? Well, we can pray to him. And praying is just like talking to God. We're going to talk about prayer a little bit later on in the month, but prayer is something where we can close our eyes and we can really focus on talking to God. And all we do to talk to God is we can close our eyes and we can think of God and we can say, "Please God, I want to talk to you. I'm sorry for the bad stuff I've done, but thank you for everything that I have. And I want to talk to you and ask for your help and get to know you." That's all prayer is. It's like a conversation between you and your parent, or you and a friend. So Becky's got a little craft for us to help us with our prayer.
Do you like this hand that I've made? Look, we can pull it down and look at different prayers. We've got thank you, sorry, and please. And there are different ways that we can pray. Would you like to make one? Shall I show you how to make one? So the first thing you have to do is draw around your hand. You'll need some paper and a pen. And when you've drawn around your hand, we need 3 pieces of paper, so 2 extra pieces. 2. And then put them together behind your picture of your hand, and then cut out your hand. So So you can either put the pieces behind or you can draw your hand 3 times. Whichever way is easier for you. So we're going to cut it out. Just like that, and then you should have your hand. And when you've got your picture of your hand, you should have 3 separate hands. So on the front of the first one, write prayer, because this is going to be a little prayer booklet. Then on the back of that one, write please. So we can write some please prayers. And then maybe on each finger, you want to write a different thing you want to ask God to help you with. Then on the next one, we're going to write thank you. So this one, on each finger, you could write something you want to say thank you to God for. And then on the last one, we're going to write sorry. It's always good to say sorry to God for different things, what we might do, what aren't very good. And then we can write different things we want to say sorry to God for. And then we can put them all on top of each other. Make sure you have the word prayer at the front. And then put them all together. And each one, make a little hole at the bottom. You could use a hole punch if you've got a hole punch at home. And then get some string. And then thread your string into each hole. And then tie up, and then tie it up into a knot at the bottom. And then yours should just look just like this one. You can write your different prayers on the fingers, your sorry, please and thank you prayers, and you can make it lots of different colours to make it look all pretty. Maybe you want to make some nice pretty patterns on the front.
Thanks so much, Becky. Thanks so much, Ollie. It's been lovely to spend this time with you guys. Please do go and make your prayer hand. Please do keep praying. Please do keep learning about God, and we'll be back next week to talk about who is Jesus and why is God and Jesus a little bit different. So we'll see you next week. Do send us in any pictures because we miss you so much and we love you so much. Bye.